Tribe, how you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is going to be your review for RuPaul's Drag Race Season 14, Episode 14. I'm getting it slowly but surely. I'm still doing these reviews for my nephew, because my nephew wants me to keep doing them, and so I'm going to finish out the season. We have 2 more episodes after this, and I will have it done. Okay? So, we are back after the double the double go, where Deja Sky was eliminated, and so was who was the second person eliminated? I forgot now. But Gorgeous. So Diabetes stays. And, you know, Diabetes was like, listen, I was worried. I just knew this was my turn to go because I'd already lost against Deja. And we know that Gorgeous has just been a lip sync assassin this season and has sent everybody home. So, honestly, I was shocked. But, you know, the one thing I'll say about this season of Drag Race, in past seasons, when sometimes there have been eliminations that in my mind were questionable, or in my mind I felt like, ooh, I don't know about that one. But honestly, this season, I kind of, when certain people went home, it was time for them to go home. Even though they may have been entertaining and they may have done some great things, but it was time for them to go home. Gorgeous, even though Gorgeous was the lip sync assassin, she was sort of getting very flatlined with everything else. Deja, I like Deja, but Deja was not giving me what I needed to be given on the runway. You know, I think Deja did okay in the challenges, but for somebody who has made all these grand costumes for other people, I just didn't get it. I wasn't seeing it. I don't know. Maybe it's me, because I do not claim to be a fashionista, but it wasn't giving me what it was supposed to have given. So anyway, we are down to the top 5, and so of course everybody is reflecting on the journey thus far, and you know, oh my goodness, we're just one challenge away from that top 4 position. And the challenge this week is, you know, certain things are just staples of RuPaul. So this is the challenge where you write your own verse of one of RuPaul's songs, do the video for one of RuPaul's songs, and you interview with RuPaul and Michelle Visage. Now, I guess they don't do their podcast anymore. I used to listen to the podcast, and I'm going to be honest with y'all. I stopped listening to the podcast on a regular basis because I felt like it was the same stuff over and over again as far as like Michelle. If I got to hear Michelle tell that story one more time about her and her group in the damn soundtrack of The Bodyguard, if I had to hear one more time about how they used to work together at the radio station in New York, like, it got to be monotonous for me. I'm just going to be honest. So maybe that's why they stopped doing it, because they said they were going to have a TikTok chat, which, you know, that's one of the TikTok, which is one of the, I guess, sponsors, because they had the TikTok challenge at the beginning. Y'all put it in the comments if they still do their podcast, because honestly, I done got addicted to true crime. I have stopped listening to a lot of my podcasts that I used to listen to. Anyway, put it in the comments. So, the song, like I said, the song is Catwalk. Now, the other thing I can appreciate is they edited this in a way that we don't have to see every single moment, right? We see them working on their rap, but we don't have to go through the whole tedious process of seeing them write every line. We didn't see them record it, because again, that used to be a thing where we had to hear them record it. I feel like we've heard them record already this year. We went through that whole moment of seeing them record. Cool. We get to the choreography. Oh, and they have to design their outfit, because the whole theme of the video is like it's played off of the George Michael song that had all the supermodels in it. So it's like a throwback to that, and so it's very supermodel. So very much you're going to be walking a runway. I want you to give it. Now here's the thing about, if you've watched RuPaul enough, then you know we're at a point where there are no mistakes to be made. Because at this point, we're at the top of the top. And this year, like I said, I think they did a good job of eliminating the people when it was their time to go. So there's really not a whole lot of room for a whole lot of mistakes to be made. So even something as simple as Bosco's outfit being horrendous for the runway. When we got to the choreography from the beginning, the minute Angeria heard choreography, she had already mentally checked out and could not get it, because she said, listen, I'm not the choreography girl. I can't do choreography. And so in her mind, boom, she had already eliminated the choreography. She struggled, right? She struggled. She only got the first move and the last move. Now, once they got done with their rehearsal, I think they thought they were going to have more time to practice. But, baby, Michelle was the director. And Michelle was like, lights, camera, action, let's go. Which further freaked out Angeria. Like, wait, what? You mean I don't have time to go and practice? I don't have time to go work on this? Oh, my goodness. But so they do the video. And, of course, Angeria, she struggled. She had the first movement. She had the last movement. And she just faked it until she made it in the middle. Now, when they were doing their solo parts, Michelle was she was giving, tips and things they should do. Now, the one thing Michelle gave Angeria was to get down and crawl on the runway. And Angeria was like, I'm not. I'm going to give you Supermodel. I'm going to give you Naomi Campbell. I'm not. And, of course, Bosco came behind Michelle and was like, oh, you're not going to crawl? Well, I will. And so she, crawled the runway and she worked the one way. Now, there's a part of me that feels like, girl, if the director tells you to do something, you might want to do it. But then there's another part of me that's like, girl, I understand why you ain't get on that ground, okay? Now, what we see in this competition, we see that Angeria and Willow are really the tightest as far as really, really building a genuine friendship out of the 5 girls that are left. And, yeah, again, I've been watching this long enough to know how this works. So when we sit down for our interviews, Diabetti sat down, and what we found out is that Diabetti is actually diabetic and has an insulin pump, which makes it, she said, it makes it interesting for her to have to, dress around the insulin. She's type 1. And, she talked about how hard that was, but how she's had to adjust to it, that kind of thing. When Angeria came through, Angeria was talking about, she talked about her family and how her parents are very supportive and how her father is actually one of her number 1 fans, which is, that's not the story we always get. So that's a great thing. Like, I'm glad to hear it, but that's just not the story we always get, Bosco talked about, the fact that he kind of came out of his box a little bit because he won these comedy challenges and never saw himself as a comedy, queen. And so how that was a good thing. And the fact that, listen, technically, baby, you have been voted out and you went from the bottom to the top and now you're here. Okay, Bosco is the true MVP of this season, okay? Willow, of course, we talked about Willow's challenges with his health and how he works around. I'm sorry. I think Willow's, I'm going to say she. Because it's just easier for me to say she. Okay. How Willow, how she works around the disability. She said it's mainly in her hands, and how she has figured out how to do her makeup like this instead of kind of like that, and just the challenges and just maintaining a positive vibe and a positive, outlook on things, which I thought was interesting. Lady Camden, of course, talking about the dancing and the challenges of, the family and, not really thinking that they would be here. You know what I'm saying? Is that everybody? Bosco, Diabetti, and yeah, okay. So that's kind of how their interviews went. And like I said, I told you guys how the choreography went. The video was really, really cute. Of course, Ru was in there. Ru was not RuPaul. Ru was Ru. Ru. I can't think of Ru's real last name right now. But was not RuPaul, but was like the cameraman working, while the models were coming down the runway. It was really cute. It was really cute. And so the runway was, you're a winner, baby. So let's talk about it. Bosco was very Bosco. Had on this sheer. It wasn't sheer, but it was like the illusion of sheer, beaded gown. Very, kind of going back to that burlesque route that we first met Bosco with. And I was starting to remember the first couple of episodes, I was like, okay, Bosco, you're going to have to come out of that. Like, you're giving me the same thing. And The fact that I don't remember that this is what Bosco was giving at the beginning tells me that Bosco wasn't giving me the same thing, right? Very nice, very Marilyn Monroe esque type style, blonde hair, all that kind of thing. It was had a, it was a gown, very nice. And Jerry, you know what? The judges loved this look. It wasn't my favorite. It was a black gown, and it had like the ruffles, and it was off the shoulder. It was gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't my favorite. Listen, Angeria has not gotten it wrong on the runway for me all season. For me. Now, other people might have had a problem, but for me, no ma'am. No ma'am. And this just wasn't my favorite. Was it nice? Absolutely. Was it a gorgeous gown? Sure. It wasn't my favorite. Okay. Diabetes gave me it looked like a very antebellum old style dress with the bustle, but the bustle was on the side instead of in the back, and it was burnt, like singed, like she was running out of Gone with the Wind or something, honey. But again, it was on brand. It was yellow. It was a very pretty yellow. It was very on brand for Diabetes. Lady Camden gave me this gorgeous stoned out princess style dress in this ice blue color. Baby, yes. Lady Camden, yes, baby. I was here for it all. Willow was the rat. It was Willow. Face was made up to be a rat. It was a nice dress, but she was a rat. So then, of course, it's the last challenge. So what does Rue do? Rue holds up a picture of them as babies and say, what would you tell your 5-year-old self, your 1-year-old self, your 3-year-old self? And I'm going to be honest, it's the same stuff. Believe in yourself. Don't worry about the bullies. Don't worry about, what people tell you. You can do it. You're a winner. That kind of thing. A few that stood out. Lady Camden made mention of your family is going to face some challenges that are going to, some unspeakable challenges, but try not to harden yourself too much. So I don't know. The nosy in me want to know what that's about. Bosco spoke about, listen, you're going to do and make sure you hug your mama a little bit more because you're not going to have her as long as you think you are. And Jerry spoke about how supportive her parents were. And, don't worry, the kids at school are going to bully you, but you got it. You know what I mean? You got it going on. Of course, Willow spoke about the challenges, the physical challenges, the health challenges. But I just thought, honestly, and it's not to lessen anybody's experience. Please, I don't want anybody to think that I'm just glossing over the fact that people have had these hard experiences, because I am not. But I'm saying we've heard it, and that's the story. So please, I don't want nobody to be like, well, everybody, their story isn't. It is important. But this is 14 years, y'all. The same. Okay. So the judges are deliberating, and honestly, Rue was like, "Listen, I like all of them in their own little way. I don't really know who I want to send home." But my initial thought was that Bosco and Angeria were going to be in the bottom, because they kind of weren't happy with Bosco's runway outfit and felt like she didn't really quite bring it in the video. They weren't happy with Angeria, with the choreography and everything, and how, like I said, she just kind of was there, caught in the headlights. She just sort of kind of gave up from the beginning. So the way they were talking, I was like, okay, it's going to be... And they did say Willow sort of wilted away, and the video sort of blended in. But I really thought it was going to be Bosco and Angeria. Now, the tops were Lady Camden and Diabetes. But the winner was Lady Camden, that's who I expected to be the winner, because they were just like, Lady Camden was bringing it. They was here for all that she was given, and she was given what was supposed to have been gave, honey. So Lady Camden wins. Diabetes is safe, so that leaves Bosco, Willow, and Angeria. And I can show y'all my notes. I had already wrote my notes that it was gonna be Angeria and Bosco. Because I just knew that's who the bottom two were. But no, baby, it was Angeria and Willow. But then I remembered they made a point to edit, because again, I've been doing this. They made a point to remind us throughout this episode how close Angeria and Willow were. So, of course, it came down to the two friends having to lip sync against each other. They was lip syncing to Telephone by Lady Gaga, and I think Beyonce's in it too. And baby, I think both of them did a good job. But at a certain point in the song, I think they forgot they were in a competition against each other, and they started lip syncing as if they were lip syncing together, as if they were at a bar somewhere and they were performing together, right? They were holding hands at one point. They were kind of doing this back and forth motion. It was almost like they had choreographed it, but I know it was very spontaneous because it wasn't that smooth. But you could just see that they were kind of just in sync, and it was very entertaining. And I loved both versions. I enjoy both. So of course Ru says, and I'm thinking, before Ru even says anything, I'm thinking, daggone, we already had a double Shantae, you stay, so I know we ain't gonna do another one. But y'all know I did not want to see Angeria go. I didn't want to see Willow go, and I've been trying to stay away from spoilers, but I do think I know who wins. So based on the fact that I think I know who wins, I already felt like I knew who was going home. Okay, for those who already know who won, y'all know what I'm saying. And so Ru says, Angeria, Shantae, you stay. And I'm like, what? But then Ru says, Willow, Shantae, you stay too. And I said, see, that's what I had thought. So it is a top 5, not a top 4. Okay. And I'll be back. We got the reunion, and then we have the final episode. I'm going to try to get those knocked out as soon as possible. Mwah! Peace.